Welcome to Reading Library's film this year for Heritage Open Days, with the theme being architecture. My name is Katie Amos and I'm Local Studies Lead at Reading. Although Reading is famous for its 3 Bs, beer, biscuits and bulbs, there's arguably a fourth that could be added: bricks, the building blocks of architecture. Bricks and tiles have been made in the area since the medieval period. In fact, Tilehurst's name comes from the industry, the wooded hill where tiles were made, so there's no getting away from it. Maps of the area show multiple brickworks, particularly in the suburbs of Tilehurst, Catesgrove and Calcutta. Names include Waterloo Kiln, Rose Kiln, Kew Kiln and Grovelands. Within the library's collection we have a number of items relating to this industry, including photographs, books and catalogues. Within the photograph collection we have many taken by J. Kenneth Major of some of the kilns when they went out of use and before demolition, showing both interior and exterior views. We also have a map showing the aerial ropeway that used to travel over Norcote Road that many people still recall today. There is now a housing estate on the site of the old clay pits called the Potteries, with the roads named after famous pottery producers. Many of the bricks produced in the local area were then used to build houses for the growing number of workers employed in places like Huntley and Palmer's factory and Simmons Brewery. Elgar Road in particular was used to demonstrate the range of brick products that could be produced, and Poulton's even had an office on the road at number 185. Again, the library has a whole series of photos of Elgar Road where you can see the different styles of friezes and plaques. And if you want to find out more, then there's an excellent article on Reading Brickworks on the Berkshire Industrial Archaeology Group website too. So, Reading is not short of brickworks, nor buildings either, and the library has lots of resources to help you discover more about the place we live in. This includes street directories, electoral rolls, maps, estate catalogues and books. Street directories are a great resource for finding out about both people and places and have different sequences within them, some of which will be more useful than others depending on what you're looking for. There is an alphabetical listing of streets with who lived at each property, an alphabetical listing of people with where they lived, plus business listings and village listings as well, not to mention lots of useful information about local institutions. The street directories were only published up until 1976 for Reading, so after that you may need to use electoral rolls to find who lived where, and we have copies for Reading dating from 1900 on the open shelves. Do bear in mind though that they aren't as flexible as the directories, as they're really designed to list voters, so arranged by ward area and not by street or surname, plus you had to be eligible to vote to be even listed. We have maps in the cabinets from both Ordnance Survey and earlier cartographers which detail in visual form just how the town has changed. One of my favourite maps is the 1 to 500 series by Ordnance Survey for Central Reading, which shows the various roads, streets and courts in great detail. Estate catalogues are what we have termed the pamphlets that were produced by various auction houses and estate agents who were selling properties through the 1800s and beyond. Some are more detailed than others, occasionally including maps and photographs alongside room types and sizes. As for books, one of my go-to options is the late Sidney Gold's Biographical Dictionary of Architects at Reading, which alongside information on the lives of the architects also includes the properties that they were responsible for. Mr. Gold, alongside H. Godwin Arnold, took a more comprehensive look at one family of architects in particular, the Morris family, as detailed in this particular book. Between them, the Morrises were responsible for a number of buildings around the country as well as Reading, including Hillside, Oxford Road School, the Pill buildings on Station Road and McIlroy's department store on Oxford Road. Joseph Morris was in a successful partnership with Spencer Slingsby Storwood, who was mentioned in last year's film, but this partnership came to an end, most likely through religious differences, as Morris got ever more deeply involved with a group called the Agapema Knights, based in Somerset. For a more visual approach, you can't go wrong with our illustrations collection. We have over 20,000 photos of people and places across Reading and Berkshire, and many of these photos will include buildings of some sort. They range from brick houses to pubs, cottages, schools and even modern buildings. You don't even have to come into the library to see these, as many of them are viewable on the library's catalogue. Why not try putting in the name of your street and see if we have a picture? This is all just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Reading architecture. There's also Reading Abbey, stones from there were reused in other locations across the town, and there's also the beautiful stonework around Eldon Square and so much more. Finally, on the subject of buildings, Reading Library will be moving location in 2026 to the Civic Offices site on Bridge Street, where you'll still be able to find the items I've mentioned, plus more besides, so do come and see us. Thank you for watching, and if you have any queries about what you've seen, don't forget that you can pop into the library, give us a ring, or drop us an email and we'll do our best to help. Thank you.